Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Experience. You hear the alarm going off of the cars simply because I realized what it is that they were doing, and I'm about to expose what it is that they do. So as soon as I took up my phone, they started with the car outside. You hear the car horn going off. Anyhow, so I've been, for the past 2 days, been here doing some cleaning, and also been listening to Bobby Hermit, right, who has a wealth of knowledge, wealth of information. And the one thing that they don't want us to do is to have knowledge, or is to seek knowledge and have knowledge, because with that you attain wisdom, right? Not only do you attain wisdom, but you attain understanding, right? So therefore, you begin to sympathize and empathize with the people around you, even the ones that are doing things to you that are negative. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to love them, but it just means that you understand how they're being used against you, right? And so, I've been posting some of the books that he recommended for reading on Facebook. Now, I talk about this before. Every time you, as a TI, if you do something good, they will attack you even more so that you won't want to do anything good. Anytime you sympathize with somebody, they will attack you fiercely so that you won't sympathize with the people around you. And Bobby Hermit, in this video I was watching, is called, let me see if I can pull it up. It's my mouse here. The video is called Bobby Hermit, He Who Knows One Book Knows None. You see, all of a sudden I hear all this noise, right? It's been quiet, I mean, not quiet, but so they've been using the horn sporadically. As I'm watching the video, some things are being said, but now they're really going off on with the noise now. Okay, so Bobby Hermit, he's talking about how these ruling people, who are white people today, right? They are the devils, right? And they condition you to become just like them, but except you don't have their power. But you have their mindset, some of their mindset, in terms of materialism, a violent nature, sociopathic, psychopathic nature, the dog triad personality types. Except you don't have the power because you don't have the money, the wealth, the influence. All right, and you're not in a position to attain these things or even implement some of the things that they've implemented within the society. Okay, so this is what is coming from, and it's because they fear the Christ within you, right? Each and every one of us. When you come into your Christ consciousness, you begin to look at the world and look at the people around you, and you say, you know what? Something is not right here. Okay, you have these wealthy people who are hogging all of the wealth, who are destroying this society, destroying families, separating people. Why? So that they can have more wealth, more than they can ever spend. They will never be able to spend the amount of wealth that they have. Not even their children will be able to spend the amount of wealth that they've accumulated. And they keep accumulating more. And why? Because they have no soul. They have no soul. Right? They have no humanity. Okay? All they know is accumulating wealth, causing destruction, putting people against each other, because it is a game to them, and because they believe that they are gods over us, that they are the gods over us. But they know that we are the gods over them because we are in abundance. And separating us is the only way that they can control us. Okay? This is why you see the separation of people, the separation of humanity into different races when there's only one race. But they have baked into our consciousness the concept of different races when there's only one race amongst human beings, and that's the human race. We have different ethnicity, different phenotypes, different colors, but we are all human beings. some of us as human beings think that we're better than others because we've been indoctrinated within a system and a society in which put a person's color and physical features over others. And it never used to be like this. Okay, but the devils are the ones who created this system. And so, because they understand our history, like the amount of knowledge that Bobby Hermit has is vast. I mean, he's like, in terms of dealing with the mysticism, the occult, dealing with the proper interpretation of religious scriptures today and how it connects to ancient and other sources in which they got to create their Bible. He has a wealth of knowledge, you know, and that's why I would recommend you guys go watch his videos. Right, it's Bobby Hemmitt, Bobby Hemmitt, and you know, the understanding is just tremendous, right? And he has helped me a lot in terms of realizing certain things. There are books that he's always meant, and this is what I respect about black scholars, because black scholars will tell you the truth, right? Black people, we're not about writing, you know, our own version of history. We're about writing the truth. We're about unveiling the truth. We don't have to make up anything, right? Whereas Europeans had to make up history. They have to make up a lie about history, particularly a lie about black people, while they took all the knowledge from black people, hid it, right? Basically expel black people out of Europe, okay? Went into Africa to steal black people again and to dumb down their mind, to teach them that they were nothing, that they didn't build anything, cut them off from their ancient knowledge systems, the ancient spiritual systems, and instill a European system. And I always talk about the book called The Golden Stool, right? By Ewan J. No, it's Edward J. Ewan, something like that, right? But it's called The Golden Stool. And in this book, right, this is a Christian missionary traveling over Africa during the time of colonization, and he talks about how what the Europeans were doing. They were basically transplanting the minds of Africans, right, to take away their African social system, social and spiritual belief system, and indoctrinating them with a new mind, which is going to take generations to come, right? So this is what happened. And though Africans still retain some of their ancient spiritual practice, they've incorporated with European Christianity, right? And so therefore it you know, it invalidates their practices, because it still is based also on European indoctrination. Okay? But there are those in Africa who understand the true African spiritual system. And again, they'll, you know, when you're overtaken with 95% of your countrymen and countrywomen are indoctrinated with either Islam or Christianity, right? The very few that hold on to their true African spiritual system, they die out, right? And even though they teach it to other Africans, it's only the people who are in their immediate circle, right? So it doesn't get to, so the African spiritual system doesn't get to revive itself within Africa. And that is done on purpose, just as here in America, right? So, you know, one of the things that he also said to us, and I've said this because I hear Dr. Yosef Ben Jacobin says that, he says, you know, I know my poverty is rooted in my struggle, because, and that's every black scholar who understand the truth, that this system and those that control the system and run the system, they will seek to destroy you based upon your knowledge, right? This is why the churches don't teach you knowledge, right? The churches only indoctrinate you, because the churches play a big role in keeping you ignorant and dumb. Okay? And why? Because of the sake of money. So they have become like the oppressor. And again, go and read the book Wedico. I forgot the author's name. but it is a very important book that you understand, because this is a book based on the Native American observations and or the Native people in America observations of white European settlers and their mindset. It is a deep psychological study into, you know, the type of disease that they have, the disease of the mind, which is vertical, which is the insatiable appetite for control, for wealth, for the destruction of the natural world. You know, so again, but you know, this is nothing new, right? And so when I start to listen to, and is that you hear the sirens, and the reason why I'm the siren, because they, you know, they're right now on the remote monitoring. So, you know, I was just talking, I'm just waving my hands, but you guys can't see because I'm off to the side, right? So waving my hands, and I did this. My hands just came together like this, right? You know, like this, right? And that's when you hear that siren, that whoop, right? So again, because, you know, it's their paranoia, right? But anyhow, okay. Also, you know, I tend to share a lot of these, a lot of information on Facebook. I'm not one to keep these things to myself because it doesn't make any sense. You know, as I said, you know, psychopaths, they create other psychopaths around them. Sociopaths, the same thing too. Narcissists, the same thing too. The dark triad personality types, the same thing. They create people who are just like them, right? And again, the people who are beneath them in the social hierarchy. That way, you know, it keeps the focus on those that are on the lower social hierarchy and not the ones who are the actual our actual enemy, our actual oppressors. Okay, and so they create the separations of people and such, bringing, you know, all these different separatist ideas, right? This all comes from the Europeans, right? So if you think about what in India, what is called the caste system in India, right? Again, created by Europeans, white Europeans. Even in Islam, you also have a caste system there, right? And in Western democracy, Western capitalism, Western dictatorship or communism, there is a caste system in all of these. But in the democratic countries, that caste system is masked by what is called a class system. Okay, and you go read the book American Caste. There's a book on that too. Again, I forgot the author, but I have the book too also. It's called American Caste, right? So yeah, so they the more that I've gained knowledge, the more that I'm watching you know, videos by those who, and particularly when it comes to black scholars, right? So I'm not talking about, like, you know, Billy Carson, because they love it when I watch Billy Carson. Not Billy, what's his name? Not Billy Carson. Is it Billy Carson? You know, the black guy who talks about the Anunnaki and all this other stuff. I think his name is, let me see here. Shoot, where's my mouse? Okay, I just had, there it is, right in front of me. See, again, and I'm attacking, so they've attacked me so much, particularly when you're monitoring, that when I have things right, my mouse is right here, and I just couldn't see it, and I was like, where's my mouse? I had to, like, double look twice in order for me to see it. But I think his name is Billy not, is it, hold on a second. I know, right? And I should remember, that's that, I type in Illy, not Billy. Is it Billy Carson? Yes, Billy Carson, right? He has he has a website. It's called Forbidden Knowledge. So they love it when I watch him, because again, he's all about the aliens and all this stuff. And, you know, I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm just saying is that we don't have you know, any sort of you know, unless it's being hidden from us, empirical evidence to say that, you know, yeah, there was a race of beings called the Anunnaki and such, though we may read it in, you know, like the Babylonian creation myth and stuff like that. But again, if you go back to the Egyptian myth, all right, and I said these are all myths. So when I talk about Kemetic spiritual belief system, Kemetic spiritual belief system is a myth, but it's grounded in truth. Meaning that there were no, like the gods that they call the gods of Egypt, they're not really gods of Egypt. All these are a representation of human nature. All right, representation of universal nature. Right. So, for example, the name they got, for example, Geb is Earth. Right. That's the so-called the Earth god, but it's not really a god. It's just Earth in the physical representation. Then they show you a picture of who Geb is. They basically created a physical personification of Earth, just like Shut. Shut is air, right? So the goddess Shut, which is air, oxygen. So when we talk about is the personification of nature, human beings, the universe, right? So they're not gods, but because of Europeans' misunderstanding, and I always say this, Europeans, when they created their belief system, it is in the opposite of what African spirituality really was, right? Now that's the religion aspect of it, but they also understand the true spiritual aspect, which is the science. So not only did they create the religious aspect to keep us away from the scientific aspect of it, which is the true spiritual aspect, they give us religion and say, okay, well, this is now your new spirituality. So you're waiting for a God to come rescue you, right? When they understand that your Savior is within you, right? And so what they've been doing is because again, they are the least populated people on this planet, is saving themselves. And how are they doing it? Through the adaptation of African spiritual system, which is scientific. Right? So we have to grasp that concept and understand what's going on here. Not only as TIs, right? But me being a black person. And this is why, again, I don't separate me being a TI from being a black person. Right? And I understand, because I understand a lot of things that I didn't understand before. I didn't even know before. Not only as a TI, not only about the technology stuff like that, but also delving into more of the scientific, the more spiritual side, which is the scientific side, right? As Professor Kabaka said, spirituality is unseen science, and science is seen spirituality. Okay? And this is what we have to understand. So while they're practicing science, you see how technology is so advancing, and why? Because they took African spirituality, right? Study it, learned it, improved upon it, are now creating. But understand that black people are a big part of creating these advances in science that they hid from us also, right? So how America would have never gotten to the moon if it wasn't for the mathematical calculation by a black woman. They made a movie about it. Okay, these were hidden. So when I talk about how these white races, these white devils, okay, not all white people, but the majority of them, and the majority meaning anywhere from 51% all the way to 99%, okay, 100%, right? They hide these things. They hide these people from us. Okay, so we always giving the credit to white people or other groups of people, Asian people, particularly white and Asian people, right? But they are also brilliant Arab people also, but they're classified as white. Okay, so again, they hide knowledge from us. They hide the truth, and they continue to do it. And we have to wake up and understand what's going on. And me as a black person, this is why, like I said, I've been called to this purpose, which is to expose what it is that they do, regardless of the threats. Let me tell you, last night, they must have thought they had the upper hand, because for a whole hour, the New York Predator Department, they were driving by, with the sirens. Every time I walk into the foyer towards the front door, they will start using the sirens. They still do it today. They were doing it today, but sparingly, not as much as they were doing it yesterday. This is why I hear the sirens now, because whenever I speak like this, whenever they see that fire is burning, that fire is, when I say fire, I don't mean like actual physical fire, but that thirst for more knowledge, right? For more understanding, that thirst to that they create within me, right? I say help, but they help not create, but they help create within me to expose them for what it is that they're doing, because they're evil. Okay? Masquerading as good people. They are evil people. And they've been setting us up for the longest while in order to control us. You know, Bobby Hemmett, you know, this guy, you look at, as a TI, go and look at his videos. You can clearly see and understand that he is a target. And he said that the minute I started to study, and I come out of college studying the consciousness with Dr. Ben and Dr. John Henry Clark and all these other Asa Hillier, all these other black scholars, that, you know, he's like, they have attacked me so much that, you know, I don't even know where my next meal is coming from. And this is what they're doing to me today. Sabotaging my credit, you know, hacking into my accounts, causing disruption, doing things to put me at a disadvantage, and it's continuously. Why? Because again, they always come after attacking me so heavily. They'll always come, send some Jesus thumping person to talk about God this and God that, to try to pull me into the fold of Christianity, which is a lie. And they're afraid of people aren't learning the truth because of the anger, the lies that they've been told. It will be the end of them. And this is why they have a vested interest in destroying any one of us who understand the truth, who has the potential. This is from Quinta Pro now. Any black person who has the potential that is based off leadership qualities, okay, to unite black people, they're going to attack. If they cannot control you, they're going to destroy you. And like I said, they will not control me, so I guess they're going to have to destroy me. But I'm going to sure as hell fight them. Okay? So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.